Hello, this is the continuation of the lecture in negation. So we will talk about these three main points in regards of negation, negation words, and the scope of negation. Negation is normally done by adding not, the particle not, to the operator. If it is not found, the operator, we come up with do as an operator as per the tense of the sentence. For example, the attempt has succeeded. When negating this sentence, the attempt has not succeeded. She sees me every week. Now, she does not see me every week. Now, let's talk about the operator. The operator is the auxiliary verb, that can operate the predicate of any given sentence. Operate here means to be used in negation, to be used as a tense carrier, and to be used as a question particle when moving it in questions in front of the subject. Now, in negation, one of its characteristics is to be used in negation, to be fronted or preceded the particle not. So when negating any sentence, we bring the particle not and put it after the operator. Put the particle not after the operator. Now the operator here is the auxiliary verb, and the auxiliary verb, as we say, the auxiliary verb. So the operator is the auxiliary verb, and as we said that the auxiliary verbs can be has or have, has, have, or had, do, does, did or did, and is, and all its forms, depending on the type of the sentence and the tense of the sentence. Now, here we can see that the auxiliary verb is has when it is in the perfect tense, and not is after has. Here we can see that the tense is the present simple tense, and there is no do or has or is. So what will we do? So we'll take the operator from the verb see, which is always do, and since the she represents the third person singular pronoun, then of course it must be does, and then we put the not, the particle not. Now, negation can be abbreviated or not, or non-abbreviated negation. The operator may be abbreviated with not, forming what is called a contraction. For example, he is not coming. Of course, we contract this is not into isn't. So he isn't coming. He isn't coming. And the focus is on is. We cannot say he isn't coming. No, he isn't coming. Non-assertive forms. There are forms called non-assertive forms of negation. These come with negative, interrogative, and conditional clauses. Non-assertive forms are the forms that come with negative, interrogative, and conditional clauses. For example, they are, for example, these are mentioned in page 185. They are fully detailed there. However, the verb never expresses negation along with ever in the positive sentence. Never or ever negation in the when we have positive sentence. Negative intensification. Sometimes in the negative sentences there is an emphasis on certain negative parts, so we put the intensifiers, the negative intensifiers, to emphasize the negation. For example, it can be done by using phrases such as by no mean, at all, or by repeating the word never. For example, I will never go there. Okay, so here the first never is the normal negative word, while the second never here is the intensification of the negative word never. So here the sentence is intensified and in terms of negation. Or we can say I will never go there again by no mean, or at all. Okay, so here when we want to intensify the negation, to focus on the negation, we use one of these expressions or phrases, and there are so many of these phrases which are mentioned in the book, so you have to go back to the book. Now, alternative negative elements. Instead of the verb, another element can be negated. Now, in the previous slides, we have been talking about the negation of the verb. We negate the verb as the center of the sentence. So negating the verb as the center of the sentence means negating the whole sentence. Now, there are other elements that can be negated. They are not necessarily the verbs. Now let's see what kind of elements. For example, in this example, I did not see any birds, which means I saw nothing. I saw nothing like here, like birds. I saw nothing like birds. I did not see any birds, which means I saw nothing like birds. Or I saw no birds. Here I saw something but not birds. So here no birds is different from did not see any bird. Why? Because no bird here, the negation is on the birds itself. So I must see something else, not birds. As it is mentioned here, I saw something but not birds. It could be cats. It could be cats. But the scope of negation is different. So you see, so here the scope is different. I mean the element, when there is an alternative negative elements, the scope of negation. In the first one, the verb is negated. The verb see is negated. Here, no, it is not the verb. Here, I saw something, but it could not be a bird or birds. For example, here, many people did not come. Many people did not come. Not many people came, which means few people. Few people came. So the scope would be different. The scope of negation would be different. Again, when negation adjuncts come initially, there is an inversion of the subject and operator. When the negation comes first, when the negation agents come initially or at the beginning of the sentence, there is an inversion of the subject and operator. The operator comes before the subject. For example, the agent of negation, which is never, the negation word, comes here at the beginning. So what shall we do? We will front the auxiliary or the operator before the subject, which is I. So never will I make that mistakes again. So here instead of saying never I will make that, so it will be never will I make that mistakes again. And this is important in terms of negation. Now, more than one non-assertive form. We said there are certain non-assertive forms. Sometimes they come combined, or they come in cluster in one sentence. So if a clause contains a negative element, it is usually a negative form, that element to the end of the sentence. The non-assertive forms occur along the scope of negation, even if it extends to the subordinate clause. So let's see this example. No one has ever said anything to either of us. So no is a non-assertive form, ever non-assertive form, anything non-assertive form, to either non-assertive form. So these here 4 non-assertive forms can be accumulated or clustered in one sentence, and each one of them has its own scope of negation. Each one of these non-assertive forms has its own scope of negation. For example, the no, its scope is on the one. Has ever said, ever on said anything about the predicate of the sentence, to either again of on us. Now this is the issue of how to accumulate or cluster them. Number 2, that wouldn't deter anyone who has any courage. Anyone who has any courage. You see here anyone, and the anyone is extended to the subordinate clause, which is who has any courage, by adding any. Now let's keep up with this note. If we have double or 2 negatives, then the sentence will be positive, and this is a logical rule. When we have 2 negatives or double negative, then the sentence will be positive. For example, I can't not obey. I can't not obey. So I should obey. I should obey, because I can't, negative, not obey, again negative. So negative plus negative equals positive. So I should obey. And these are used in certain contexts. We do not use them haphazardly. We use them in certain contexts. We have also the negation words. Sentences are not only sentences, phrases, or elements of the sentence are not only negated by using the particle not, or the operator and particle not. Sometimes they are negated by the use of negation words. These are several words which are negative in meaning. Their meaning, they carry the negation meaning, but not in appearance. For example, seldom, rarely, scarcely, hardly, barely, little, few, and so only, and so on and so forth. For example, However, do not confuse little and few with a little and a few. Little and few are negative negation words, while this one, a little and a few, are not negation words. They are positive. They are used as one idiom. For example, a little is one idiom and a few is one idiom. They are not negation words, while little and few, they are negative, or they have negative implication. These negative words have the following similarities to the ordinary negative forms. For example, they are followed by non-assertive forms, of course. For example, I seldom get any chance, which means I do not have a chance. When in pre-subject position, of course, as we said, some can cause subject-operator inversion. Subject-operator, for example, rarely does he come late. Okay, rarely does he come late. This is not a question, of course. This is a negative sentence. Rarely does he come late. So why? Because why here the does is before the subject? Because when putting this rarely, the negation word, then the operator does must precede the subject he. Be scarcely has the British nation suffered critics. Again here the subject operator inversion. They are followed by positive rather than negative tag questions. Of course, why? Because they are negative. For example, she scarcely seems to care. This is a negative sentence. So should we put positive or negative tag? Of course we will put a positive tag question. Does she? And so on and so forth. Negation words, in addition, there are verbs, adjectives, or positive prepositions, I should say, with negative meaning that also take non-assertive forms. For example, he denies I ever told him. The verb deny has a negative meaning. Or without any delay, without, the preposition without has a negative meaning. Or unaware of any hostility, unaware, the adjective unaware has the negative meaning. Or against any changes, against, the preposition against has a negative meaning. Scope of negation. The last topic is the scope of negation. Regarding the scope of negation, it means that negation extends from negative form to some points in the sentence. Normally, it extends up to the end of the clause or the beginning of a final adjunct. The subject normally lies outside of it. For example, I definitely didn't speak to him, which means it is definite that I didn't speak. Okay? Or I didn't definitely speak to him. I didn't definitely speak to him. It is not definite that I spoke. So here the scope, if definitely is included within the scope of negation, then the sentence would mean it is definite that I did not or I didn't speak. But if definitely is included in the scope of negation, as in this sentence, it will be it is not definite that I spoke. So the scope of negation, the point here is that the scope of negation leads to different meanings or different modification of the negative sentences. it would give different negative implications of the given sentences. So this is important. You have to pay attention to the elements of the sentence, whether they are included in the negation, in the scope of negation or not. So if an assertive form is used, it means that it does not lie in the scope of negation. For example, I did not listen to someone of the speakers. Here it means I listened to some of them. I did not listen to some of the speaker. You see this assertive form, which is some, okay, it means it does not lie in the scope of negation. It means I listened to some of them, okay, I listened to some of them. Or I did not listen to any speaker, which means I listened to none of them, So this is important. The assertive forms are not included in the negation. When they are in the sentence, in the negative sentence, they are not included. The focus of negation, of course, when negating a sentence or any element of the sentence, there must be a focus on certain elements. This means that there are some words to be meant in negation or to be focused on. For example, Harry didn't attack the labor government. Okay, so here the focus is on Harry. Someone attacked but not Harry. The presupposition of this negative sentence is that someone attacked but not Harry. We can say also Harry didn't attack the labor government. You see this, the labor government. You see the tone, my tone. Here we can say Harry didn't attack the labor government. So here it would not be someone attacked but not Harry. Here the focus of negation is different. Here the focus is on the government. So it can be Harry attacked something else but not the labor government, and so on and so forth. It depends on the speaker's expectation or speaker's intention in terms of the focus of negation. That's all for this lecture, negation. I hope that it is clear for you. Practice through the exercises in the workbook, which will be done in the next lecture. Thank you very much. That's all for me. If you have any question, any addition and suggestion, you can contact me online. Thank you.